Hello, and welcome to Empowered the Podcast. My name is Linda, and I am your host. I am an empowerment coach, a spirit junkie, a realtor, a proud mom, and a dog mom. I'm also an animal advocate, a child advocate, and someone that overcame a lot of challenges and trauma in my life. This podcast is packed with powerful content, inspiring conversations with amazing guests who will help you heal, grow, and evolve into a better version of you so you can attract in your best and most empowered life. I don't know about you, but I'm not here for mediocrity. I'm here for an abundant, blessed life. Life does not have to be so hard. That is an old program. We can do less and attract more, and I know this to be true. I love bringing you this powerful information. I hope you enjoy, learn, and grow. Have a beautiful day. Hi there, we're back with part 2 with Kelly Siegel, and he is sharing about his healing journey with EMDR therapy, and I hope you enjoy.
So I said, I'd done enough work on myself where I said, there's something that's not healed. And I would have fought you with that. So I said, what's the next modality of therapy? And the only one I hadn't tried was EMDR. So I called a buddy who had done well with EMDR, and he's like, I got the best lady. You know, everybody says that. And I met this gal.
Tell us, what is that? Eye movement. What is it?
Eye movement, desensitization, and reprogramming. Basically, I'm going to bush this, but this is what it was, is I literally did this on a computer screen, and we would go through our timeline of events, of all traumatic events. And what you do is by moving your eyes back and forth and following this ball, you assign logic to an emotional thing. So I'll tell you, because it was in the book, on my 9th birthday, my mom came home drunk and beat the living crap out of me, almost killed me at 9. My sister had to save my life. I didn't realize how traumatic, and it sounds so stupid because I'd worked through that in talk therapy, in hypnotherapy. I'd had fake conversations with my parents and asked them why they did that. And I thought it was healed. And then I got into EMDR therapy, and that particular trauma, and there was about 15 different traumatic events that we reprogram. So basically what you do is you go back and forth. And the emotion is, I am not worthy of love because you beat me.
On your birthday.
On my birthday. So I was able to reprogram that just says, hey, this ain't going to make any sense, but that's okay, because all you have to do is assign logic. The logic was, it's a cold, hard world, and I'm going to get you ready for it. And it took away all that freaking power that I'd given it that said I wasn't loved and that it didn't love me. And once I did it, it took 2 sessions. Literally, I almost broke the monitor that you're watching me on right now. The lady stopped me and said, we need to take a break. And I go, why? She goes, you're going to break your computer. It was that crazy. So it took me 2 sessions. I got through it. And once that session was done, I felt like the weight of my entire life was lifted off my thing.
Wow.
Now, keep in mind, I've read enough and I've talked to enough therapists and doctors that everybody is different. And it's like that for your fitness too. So just because I work out at 5 a.m. and I take these supplements, that's what works for me.
Right.
Just because EMDR worked for me
in 2 sessions doesn't
mean that it would, no, I did 15 sessions. But the one thing I will caution people, and this is what I read everywhere, do not run out and do EMDR. You have got to work your way up to that, because it can send you in a spiral. If I would have done that first, there was a good chance that I could have gone back to drinking. It was hard. I had to, those 2 sessions, now I went through 15, and that was like in the middle. And those 2 sessions were so hard that if I hadn't done hypnotherapy before to try to loosen up some of that, and then talk therapy to loosen up. And then after I was done with everything, I tried this real vague plant medicine. And I went in with the intention that just said, I sat in a ceremony and just said, I want to make sure that I'm deserving of love. And I unpacked that. So I have done a lot of work. And then I do check-ins. I'll call my EMDR therapist. I'll call my hypnotherapist or my talk therapist. And just a quick, and they laugh now. Now they're like, Kelly, you're good. You don't need to. I just want to check in and because it just feels arrogant to me to feel this good every single day. But I just go with it. And I thank God and I'm grateful every day. I say it in the morning and I say it at night. Thank you, God. And he keeps blessing me every day. I ask specific asks out of God and I get them almost every time. Really every time. So I tell people that I know it sounds kooky that Siegel is believes in God and man, but I have been beat up. I have been shot at. I have had guns to my head. I have been run over. How else am I here? Somebody or something has been looking out for me from the dawn of time. My stepfather tried to kill me. He tried to drown me. And somehow, some way, one of the times he drowned me, I was able to freaking pick and let the water out of the bathtub.
Oh my
Every time
gosh. And
he
never got
thought
in.
I was
He never got in trouble for that. And where's your mother today?
I just put a post up yesterday that my social media team and I drove by and I filmed their house and he edited it out. So you should see their house. They still live in Warren today. We don't talk. It just is better that way.
Oh my goodness.
I ran into my stepfather at a funeral 14 years ago. And I know this because my daughter was a year old and they'd never met my daughter. And I said, would you like to say hi to your granddaughter? And he proceeded to pretend like she didn't exist and tried telling me a joke. And I looked at him and I said, man, you're something else. You're something else. And I walked away. My mother's never met my beautiful daughter. She tried, she said something about trying to sue me over my book, but I have lawyers looking and so, it's
Oh my
frankly,
goodness.
they're
I gotta
very
get your book.
unhealthy people.
Yeah.
They
Same.
don't, they never made any changes. They sit at home and they do nothing. And they're
Sounds
going
like
to be one
mine.
of those people that when they inevitably move on from this physical universe, there'll be nobody at their funeral because they never really lived. But the good news is, hey man, they didn't abort me, and I'm gonna leave a freaking dent. So thank goodness they made me tough as nails.
Oh yeah. You have done so much. It's incredible. So, we covered a lot of things and I'm listening and soaking it all in. I'm loving talking to you. I knew that I would. And so tell us about your besides your gratitude, which I love, your morning practice, you thank God in the morning and then in the evening. Do you do anything else like meditation or,
Yeah, thanks for asking. I have the same routine, and I do everything. I develop a process and I repeat it, and I just add to it every day or every year. So every morning I wake up, as soon as my eyes open, I say three things I'm grateful for. Sometimes it's just literally this smooth flight from Florida to Detroit. A lot of times it's wow, I can't believe I woke up in a beautiful home in Florida and I get to go to sleep at a beautiful home in Bluefield Hills. I'm not supposed to be here. Well, I wasn't, statistically, I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm supposed to be here because God said so. Um, Most of the time I'm grateful my daughter's sleeping safely in the next room because I get to live my childhood through my daughter. So real quick, three things. I pop up out of bed. I go into the bathroom. I chug a big thing of water. I do a high five in the mirror like Mel Robbins. Tell myself I love me. I sit down. I write I write a journal. I meditate, and then I'm off to the gym. And at the gym, I'm usually listening to a podcast. After the gym, I get back home. I make my daughter breakfast. I shower. I get her to school, and I'm off to the IT company or whatever podcasts or whatever I have to do for the day. And everything, I have an assistant that keeps me moving forward because she thinks I'm insane because I do so much. And it's rinse and repeat. And I have breakfast with my daughter, and I have dinner with my daughter. Sit down, and that's the time for us to chat. And then after dinner, we usually read together and she goes to bed. I mean, we are regimented as the day is long. It is boring, but boring wins. And it's
Wins,
just
structure.
day in and day out. So, and it's like that. I work out 7 days a week. I do. There's the only days I take off from working out is the ones I call them God days off. And it's usually, I used to have a 6 a.m. flight from Florida to here. And, obviously to get a 6 a.m. flight, you're up at 4 and boom. And then usually when I take that flight, I have to hit the ground and right to the office. So those are hard days to get a workout in. So those are my days I take off. But they've since made it an 8 o'clock flight. And they got rid of my 6 a.m. flight. So I've been trying to squeeze them in here and there. But those are my days off. People say, oh, that's crazy. And you work out too much. It's what works for me. Save it.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
I don't care what people say. A lot of people will tell me what their friends tell them and what different people say. And it's like, you get to a point where like,
Well, I heard this. I heard this from Deion Sanders on Ed Milet's podcast. Don't let my confidence offend your insecurities. And that's
yeah,
all it is. You know
yeah,
what? Just because I get up and I go do my workout and you never work out, or you work out 3 days a week and
yeah,
then the other days you're eating Cheetos and drinking frickin' beers, that's not my problem. I
yeah,
do the work because this works for me. I'm not judging you. Don't judge me.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, people love to say they're different things, but you're not the same person as them either. Like, you know what I mean? You're not the same person. Like, we always seem to explain ourselves to people. We don't have to explain ourselves ever or defend, or, you know what I mean? It's like, this
Oh,
is
that's
like
good.
my Friday
That's
night. What?
so good. That's so good. I say that every day to my daughter.
Yeah.
No is a complete sentence,
Yeah.
and what anybody thinks of me is none of my business. And I
Yeah.
don't. I am not asking for your. I don't remember asking for anybody's permission. I
Permission,
don't need your
approval.
approval at
Yeah.
all.
Exactly. Yeah. You get to a point where you just know. And then people just treat you completely different because we teach people how to treat us. And um, yeah, this is wild. I'm definitely gonna look into the EMDR for myself. We'll see.
I have a lady. If you want me to introduce you, she's young and good, and she does everything over Zoom,
Yeah.
and it works.
Yeah, I'm interested. Um, So we covered a lot of things. Does your daughter, is her mom around at all?
Yeah, she's
Does she see her
remember
mom?
when I told the story that it's my daughter's mother, and I'm always very supportive of her. It happens to be her birthday today, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
And the first thing I did was send her a happy birthday. Thank you for the best present you could have ever given either one of us, which was an amazing daughter. So I wrote about it in the book. It was not always a great relationship, and when I met her, uh, I was a drunken whore, so I said like attracts like.
got it.
She has her trials and tribulations, but we now have respect. Part of it is my daughter's 15 and she has a voice. So,
Oh, she gets to
she
choose.
took a couple of shots at me during the pandemic, during the same time that I was going through it all. So, man, when I tell you
I think,
life
yeah,
it challenged me. Like,
I do
her
remember some of
and
that.
my ex-girlfriend got together and they tried to take custody away from my kid. And it's like, dude, the only thing in this world that matters more than my life is my daughter's. And the reason why, and I'll tell you this, Linda, it's because I get the cycle of abuse stopped with me.
Yeah.
It's done. She is loved, she is worthy, she is special, and she knows it. And I don't spoil her. She still has to she's privileged, but she still has to work. She still has standards that she has to achieve and goals that she must achieve. And she does it. And she's a better version of me. And she's the best version of her mother and me combined. So I have nothing negative to say. I do wish I wish her mother would do some personal development. But hey,
Right.
there was respect. She's her mother. I never have anything negative to say about her other than I wish she would work on herself, because I say to her every time, you deserve better. She's a good
Yeah.
person,
She has to want it
does
for
well.
herself. Yeah.
She loves her daughter unbelievably. My daughter is loved and knows it. And that's, with her upbringing, with the my daughter's mother's upbringing and my upbringing, there wasn't much love. And for the two of us to give the amount of love that we give to this little girl, there's no doubt that the expectations for her are high.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's amazing. She's doing well. That's all that matters. And, that's beautiful.
But as well as I do, it's going to get harder. I mean, I take her on trips to
Well,
Florida. We're really close. We talk about everything. So because you're Jewish. So imagine being a privileged kid in Bloomfield Hills with social media.
no,
These kids brutalize one another, are
no.
so mean, are
Yeah.
so rude, and every single thing that you want to know has a number to it. You think, if you want to know you're cool, how many followers you have, how many people are in the group text,
Well,
how many
but
parties do you get involved in. Everything is a number.
right.
Oh, I would not want to grow up in this world. And everybody is so tough hiding behind a phone. Man, when I grew up, you had to talk to people face to face and you'd risk getting your butt kicked. Now, oh, I'm going to unfollow them, unfriend them, take them out of the group chat. Unfortunately for all of them, I got a little secret. My daughter's been right next to me during my healing journey and getting everything that I have front row. So
Exactly. Well,
she
that's
sees right through all this garbage,
good. Yeah.
and she's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say is two things. This guy called me the other day, Jewish man. He has a 9-year-old. I think she's 9, and he's like complaining. I mean, it called me about real estate stuff, and I happened to be in Michigan the other day, and he happens to call just to check in. And he starts telling me about his daughter. And I said, you need to limit the social media. You need to make sure she knows her value is not about what she looks like and all these other things. And he loved all of it. And he said, I was correct about everything. But he is the parent and has to take control. And I just, your daughter's blessed to have you. But my son had 2 friends kill themselves within a year. One was a senior at Dartmouth, Jewish, good looking man. And then another one, and it was both around Rosh Hashanah with 1 year apart. And the other one was a hockey friend. And that's why I was also wanting to say when you were talking is I used to pray that my son would turn out, because raising my son, we were in separate homes and we did not get along, and I used to pray that he would turn out healthy, happy, and independent. Healthy, happy, and independent. And he is, thank you, God. And we get along today better than we ever have, his father and I. My point is, I mean, you are in charge. You're thankfully you're where you are, and so you can help your daughter. But that 4 Agreements book, that's powerful for her too. It's like, because I'm a giant child advocate. I have my own trauma and stuff, so I'm a mentor with Big Brothers Big Sisters. I love the children stuff. So I just feel like when you say the likes and the this, she has to know that none of it means anything. It's all bullshit. It really, really, really is.
Well,
It's not real.
you have to add to that, as the father, I still have to create a safe landing spot for her to know that it's okay to say, Dad, I didn't get as many likes on this. And I'm going to pick on that one. That was not what she does, but I can't say that that's stupid. She has to know that she can come to me for anything. And
Yeah.
so it's also, I am a sponge for her. That now there's certain times I'm like, I don't get that. I don't understand that. Because even when I was a kid, I never needed anybody's validation. I never cared what anybody think. I was a freaking party animal, so I didn't
But
give a crap. But I want to ask you a couple questions.
yes, I'd
What
love
does your son do in Tampa?
so he's an engineer, environmental engineer, but
Oh,
he
environmental engineer. I was just say
yeah.
IT, because there's a huge IT companies down there. So I just want to check on that. Number 2 is, Does your husband from Michigan?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. And
Yeah.
then I want to take over your podcast for 10 seconds and just give
Yes.
a personal disclaimer. You can fix anything but death. And I know that if somebody's listening to this and they're even contemplating that, you matter. You are on this earth for a reason, and people care that you're here. It may seem like it's easier to end your life, or it may seem like it's the only option, but it's not. So if you're feeling this, DM me,
Yeah.
kelly.siegel.771. Reach out to me. The 15 to 25-year-old demographic follows me like crazy. Not one time in my life, when I was beat, when I was shot, when I was did I ever think about ending my life? Because I knew I needed right here, right now, on this podcast, helping whoever's listening to this. So again, we can fix anything but death. You matter. You're important. I love you. Reach out to me if you're feeling less than, and I got you.
Same. Yeah. I created a group, but I haven't found the correct audience. Maybe you have the audience, but it's from 18 to 30, men and women. It's called Empower You, and we meet on Mondays at 6:30 Eastern. And so far I had one girl, my son, and then my son thinks it's an amazing idea. We're giving 30 days free. I wanted a safe space for these young people to show up authentic as themselves. No need for approval, no need for anything, because I feel like, especially in the Jewish community, there's just all these, like, what is the word I'm looking for? Like,
You want to give you one?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's one-upsmanship. So my daughter went through the whole bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah thing last year. And it was, people were flying in celebrities, and it was all trying to show how cool they were.
Oh, geez.
And it's,
Oh my God.
instead of spending $100,000 on flying Florida in, why don't you put that in your kid's college fund, or start a freaking insurance thing for them, instead of saying, we had so-and-so at our bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah. I had my daughter's bat mitzvah in the backyard because my family was so afraid of COVID. And it was the funnest time. Another kid had one that night, and all the kids ended up at our place. So
yeah,
comparison
is
with love,
the devil.
support.
Yeah.
So it's the one-upness. And I'll tell you, it's tough, man, to be Jewish. It really is, especially in Bloomfield Hills, because everybody is filthy rich, and everybody is trying to, and that's how they show love. Let me buy you a Mercedes. Let me buy you this. That's
the worst thing they can do.
Exactly.
That's the kids that are on drugs. That's the kids that, yeah, it's bad. But like, I say these things about, for your daughter to not like care that she doesn't get the likes, but I mean, I'm guilty of it too. We all are. It's not healthy. And I never watch any TV, and I don't have cable, and I haven't for many years, but I have that TV Plus or whatever it is on the smart TV. And I saw this like courtroom, and they had Mark Zuckerberg, and they were talking about these kids killing themselves, all this like crazy over.
That's the social dilemma I think you're talking about.
Well, no, it was like a real live court scenario with like they were like bringing him, like it was weird. And
I think he had to testify in front of Congress for something, but
but anyway, they shouldn't go after him.
I want to talk about that for a second.
Yeah,
because
let's talk about it.
You tend to need, I argue with people and myself, and I say you have to believe in invisible progress, but you certainly need checkpoints. You gotta know that you're on the right road, and if you ask God, He'll show you. And sometimes you just gotta say, "Am I on the right road?" Remember that on 75, there was that freaking, "Are you God? Are you on the right road?" Now, I will say, last week I've been grinding on my podcast, and I'm like, man, maybe this isn't what I need to do. And then I asked God, boom, first ever rating on freaking Apple Podcast comes out, number 38 on personal development. Whoa, where'd that come from? Okay, guess I'm on the right road. So did I need that validation? I did. I needed to know I was going down the path. Now, did that make me feel some kind of something? It just showed me, it provided my North Star for the goal that I had, which my goal was I want to be top 10 every single week in the podcast space. And we're gunning for number one. So I would argue that yes, you have to believe in invisible progress. But if you slow down to speed up and you wait and you ask and you look around, you will see the progress that you think is invisible. Because you can't just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going and get nothing in return and still have the energy to keep going.
Yeah,
It's just, it's
exactly.
hard.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, there were times that I felt that way. I felt like I was aimlessly working. And that's why I drank, because those were my accolades. All my friends cheering me on because I was crazy when I was partying oh, there's the validation I have for making all this money. So there is a delicate balance in all of life.
Yeah.
Do you push so hard that you get sick, or do you do not enough that you don't achieve anything? Everything in life is a certain center balance. And I can't tell you where that is because everybody's is different. Everybody's center is different. I can
Yeah.
tell you right now, I'm used to grinding so hard, but I got myself sick. So I've slowed down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't been sick in 2.5 years. But I pushed so friggin' hard and I tried to do so much, I literally got myself sick.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I am my toughest critic, and I am not a victim, and it's always I'm always accountable. So
Yeah.
it just I would tell you that just if you slow down and breathe and ask for a sign, you probably will notice it that you've missed.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to little, instead of the kid looking to try to be cool. Am I cool or not? You just relax. You don't need to look at your social media and say, oh yeah, I got 5,000 likes on this. Just relax. And then the people that show up at your house, the people that call you, the people that check in on you, shows that you're loved.
Absolutely. But we're all inherently worthy, and we're all lovable. It's just these programs, these, limiting beliefs that were instilled. Obviously, we both experienced that. And I just had that the other day when I was in town and I went to my mother's house and she waved for me to go away. So
Hey, you know what?
rejection
My
is
mom has
God's
never
protection.
looked. I can tell you what, my mom won't even recognize me. She hasn't tried to reach out to me in over
Yeah.
20 years. So
Rejection
that's
is
something.
God's protection, really.
Yeah, it's exactly what I said. I was like, you know what? This is perfect. They're negative. I don't need them in my life.
Name.
You know what? You said something, and I just kind of let you talk, and I wanted to reiterate this because this is big in women. Being the self-worthy and
Yeah.
self-confidence. You touched on that, and then we kind of changed subjects. You can't have one. You can have one without the other, but not both, if that makes sense. So you can't be confident and not be worthy, but you can be worthy. No, it's the other way. You have to be worthy first, and then you can be confident. But you can't be confident and not worthy. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Think about that.
Because I feel confident, and a lot of people, like one of my clients, she's like, when I think of confidence, I think of you. And it made me feel so good because I was low self-worth, low self-esteem my whole life. Didn't dance till I was in my 40s because I was self-conscious, all the things. And I worked on myself. I've done many things, including I had my nose done when I was 50. I mean, a lot. But so I have the confidence, I think. I think I show up pretty confident. It's just know that I still have the worthy stuff.
So you just made my point. So you feel worthy and you can be confident, but you can't be confident and not worthy. It's got
Thank
to be
you.
the one way. So you develop self-worth that you matter. That's why I said when we were talking about suicide, you matter because you have to have worthiness. You can fake confidence all day long, but you can't fake worthiness. You either feel it in your soul or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You just helped me define harder than life to its core. I am worthy because I thought I wasn't worth anything. I thought I was going to drink myself to death like my father at 46, and that was good enough for me.
I have
And
a
the
powerful
second I
question.
found my worthiness, my purpose, became huge. And now I'm going to live to 120 and make a really huge impact on this world.
Yeah.
So you can look for one thing, develop your worthiness and your purpose, and everything else will follow.
Yes.
You helped me just figure that out, by the way.
Oh, good. I want to say one question is, what do you think? I know you love who you are today, and I love who you are today, and you're doing so much for so many people, but what do you think your life would be like had you been raised with a proper upbringing and a foundation of how would you be? I wonder. Don't you wonder?
I've wondered that a lot. You know who defines proper love?
I know, but I'm
You
not
know, and
love.
it's like a parameter
I meant like,
too.
yeah,
And you
I
know,
just meant,
I always say a funny thing. If my aunt had nuts, she'd be my uncle. I'm sorry.
yeah,
What is it?
right.
I
I
don't
know.
deal with ifs and
Yeah.
buts.
Yeah.
And at the
Oh,
end of the
that's
day,
legit.
I have thought of that. And you know what? We're all born with the image and likeness of God. And then we acquire all these filters and all this ego and all this survival mechanisms. I would have just acquired different ego and different survival mechanisms that I would have had to unravel. There's nobody that literally makes it through this thing perfect. You
No.
How else do you see people that were raised in families that stayed married, that had good morals and good values and ate 3 meals a day, and they still end up screwed up?
Yeah.
We
True.
all
Have
in
trauma.
life have trauma. It's just
Little
as
big
how
trauma.
much big T trauma versus how much little t. It just so happens all of my trauma was huge,
Yeah.
capital T trauma.
Yeah.
So if you would have said that, I would have just had different things that I would have had to unravel. And I probably would have ended up in the same position because I'm here for a purpose. I am
Yeah.
here to serve God and everybody else.
Okay. Two more questions. One is you spoke about worthiness. Give the listener some ways they can work on their worthiness. Like, how can they
Ooh,
improve?
you brought it up early. Jen's book,
You
You
are
Are a
bad.
Badass, great book to read. I read right back to back Jen's book with I think it's Kamal Rivet or it was Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It, because it
Ooh.
does.
Oh, yeah.
Those are
Oh, yeah.
two great books to read. And then what I do is I did you ever heard of the Hope Oponono?
Oh, Ho'oponopono. Yeah. The
Yes.
Hawaiian prayer. Oh,
I
yeah.
said that so many times during the pandemic. It literally, so I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please. I say it 10 times in a row, probably 100 times a day. That, just saying that, made me feel worthy. And then I did this thing in the mirror. And I think I learned this in the Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. I went and looked in the mirror. And I told myself, I love myself. I love myself. I did it for 5 minutes every single day for
Oh,
several years. If I
wow.
ever fall off of kilter, I go and I look at myself and I tell myself I love me. And it
Uh,
sounds so stupid,
no, I know.
but you cannot look at yourself and tell yourself you love me and not believe it after so many times. That is
Right.
NLP right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Affirmations.
those are little hacks, little cheats that
Thank
I do.
you. Thank you.
And truthfully, the last thing is a very easy one, but nobody does it. Honoring your word to yourself and everybody else. You
Mm,
say you're going to do something, do it. I do not negotiate with myself ever. I get up, 5 a.m., I'm going to be there. I will be at the gym, and I don't it's it. So many
mm,
people, I'm going to get in shape, and then they don't. And it self perpetuates doom. So honor your word to yourself,
hmm
and that those things all put together, and you will love yourself like you've never felt before. And then all of a sudden, people will start telling you look good in Florida.
Yeah,
But the
exactly.
truth is, you look good everywhere, and people can feel your energy when you walk into a room.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's wonderful. Amazing. I love this conversation. One other book when you were talking about the love yourself, like your life depends on it is um Louise Hay. Love Yourself, Heal Your Life. Have you heard of that one? Louise
I
Hay.
am
She's
not. When I look over all the books that I read, and I
okay.
do not have that book.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
She's Hay House Publishing, right? Louise Hay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes.
She's like
Who told
even
me the
this
story about Hay House? Oh,
and worthy, even this
Jen,
book. Yeah.
Jen
Sincerely.
Gottlieb.
Oh, Gottlieb.
Be seen.
Be
Hay House
seen. Oh
Publishing.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
She's great. I had her on my podcast, another Jewish girl.
Oh, is she? Oh.
Sure, go listen to her podcast, or my podcast with her. It was, and then her book, Be Seen, was
I have her book. I
phenomenal.
just haven't read. I haven't read it yet. I have so many books. I mean, I've opened it. It's very inspiring, and it definitely is. I mean, the little bit I read.
I've gotten to know her, and she's so kind. I have her cell phone number, and she's like, "Hey, do you want me to talk to your daughter?" And I was like, Jen, I think I will. And she's offered more. She's just a good soul, and everything she's achieved, she's worked her hind parts off for, and it's all been in the face of fear. I will tell you, it's the one thing I would offer advice is make sure that you carve out so many 10 pages a day, a chapter a day. Always just, and then you'll slowly but surely. I make sure I read one chapter of a book each day, and at least I'm moving it forward. Now, there are certain days where I'll read 10 chapters, but at least one a day. So this way you can kind of get through them, because I'm like you. Next to my nightstand is a book stack this tall of books, and then it gets a little overwhelming. And then sometimes, like I said, mix in a book about nothing just to reset your brains, because they kind of do run together.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's always another book. And I love it. I love it.
But the
I
reason
love,
why I brought Jen's book up is she's Hay House Publishing. There's a story about
oh,
it
yeah.
on in the podcast that I'll ruin it for.
Oh,
Basically, her
no, I'm going
mother.
to listen. I'm going to listen to
No,
your
basically,
podcast.
her mother wrote a note to her when she was at her lowest point, and it was a quote from the lady Hay,
Louise Hay.
whatever you, Louise
Louise
Hay.
Hay.
And then she got turned down for all the books by multiple publishers, and then the Hay House Publishing company. She goes, "Kelly, you believe it?" I'm like, "Yep."
That's
Talk about
amazing.
divine. Dude, everything happens for you, not to you. I'm telling you, you go back and look at all of the crazy things that happened to me. That was God saying, Siegel, get your act together. I got big plans for you, but I need you right within. And here I
Mm-hmm.
am. And here we go. Buckle up.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, so good. Thank you for being so generous with your time and your energy and your advice and your everything. I love it. Your love. It's amazing. Thank you
Well,
so much.
I love to be loved. I receive all that. And it took a lot of work to get here. So thank you. I look forward to seeing this come out. And if there's anything I can do for you, just shoot me a text or an email, and we'll make it happen. And
Thank you,
yeah, if
Kelly.
there's anything that gentleman that has the 9-year-old daughter needs advice on, man, I can help any way I can.
Yeah, he said that she wants to go to Sephora every day, the makeup store. And I'm
I know what
like,
it is.
yeah, but I was like, I just, even for you with your daughter, I want, and I'm probably over but like what I want you to convey to her more than anything is that her value is not even her grades. It's not how she looks. It's not these likes, and it's just and being alive. And, I think women, girls, like my time frame, especially, like it was all about looks. All about looks. It's so not I like if she's into soccer or whatever, dance, whatever, her interest, artist, what photography, sh- th- you know, embrace that. Like give her like if she likes whatever. What does she like? What kinds of things?
She likes music, she likes reading, she likes soccer, she works out with me.
Oh, cool.
um
Yeah. Like
so
all
so
that.
listen, here I'll share something with you. first of all, we talk about this all the time. Um, Here's my message to her after we just spent a week together in Florida. Ari, you are my greatest creation. I'm extremely proud of the lady you're becoming. Not because you are like me, but because you are far past me when I was your age. The sky is the limit for you, Ari. Keep grinding, keep loving and being kind. All the riches you'll ever need will follow. And I'm not simply referring to money. I love you, girl. Enjoy your day.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it's you want to talk about nonstop talking about validation and not what you just said. I say to her every single day.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
if you look, she's at, like, you can see some of these. You can see this is her at parties, and she wants to check in with me. And this is her saying, "Oh boy, Dad, do I have stories to tell you?" This is the kind of relationship I
Yeah,
have with my 15-year-old daughter.
that's
So
cool.
yes, she hears it from me, and I get the, "Dad, I don't want to hear the lecture today." I go, "Well, this is what I do."
Yeah, I know.
She's sick of hearing from me. But truthfully, a daughter needs her father's love and safety and support. And that's what I give her over and over. And she
Yeah,
knows that I
yeah,
am always, always there. She is my priority. I put her right below my health. That's it.
yeah. That's amazing. I love that all this amazing stuff that you shared because it's we all need healing. We need a lot of healing. Let me just say that. And I'm working on a lot of things, and I'm gonna write a book, my memoir, because I have my own trauma. Like, I'm lucky to be alive. I had loser boyfriends. I got in trouble with the law. I was on drugs. I had stuff happen. I'm overcame a lot.
Terry Yaffe, has Michelle told you about Terry? New
Mm-mm.
York gal. I interviewed her too. She was fantastic. New York woman. I'll introduce you guys. She's phenomenal. You
Thank,
guys go on her podcast, and I'll send an email right now. I'll introduce you guys.
thank you.
I think that she's fabulous.
So nice.
So good to see you. I just sent you that email. Her name is Terry Yaffe. If you did not get it, go into your junk and
I
it'll be in
saw it. I saw it come through. Thank you so much. I'll let you know when it goes out, and I appreciate you.
there.
I'm so happy to meet you.
If there's
Thank,
anything I can do ever, just reach out.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Empowered the Podcast. It means so much to me that you are here, that you're listening. I hope you learned something. I hope you found value. If you enjoyed it, please share with someone you think would benefit from it. If you'd like to connect with me, feel free to contact me on Instagram at Linda Brand Coach or Linda Brand Homes. You can also find me on Facebook. I would love to hear from you. Send me a message. Also, I'm happy to do a free discovery call if you're looking for a coach. I would love that. Also, if you could leave a rating and review, I would love that. It would help me so much to grow this audience and help as many people as I can. Have a beautiful, blessed rest of your day and live empowered. Thank you.